All right, we are across from the convention center at South by with MG Siegler from TechCrunch. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Super excited to have you.
Yeah, of course.
So, we'd love to talk to you about the embargo issue.
Right. Always a fun topic.
Always a fun topic.
Right.
It seems to me it's a bit of an arms race that, there's just, you can't win.
Yeah, I've always have interesting perspective, I think, on the embargo thing. I mean, I really don't like embargoes in general. I don't like the idea of it because I'm really kind of a person who likes to go out there and kind of hunt in the wild for news,
right.
More than getting something fed to me. But at the same time, I completely understand it. There's a need to be able to control like a story and how it's getting out, and you want the maximum amount of press coverage, of course, like when something's coming out. But I've just never fundamentally liked the idea of it. And of course, there's the whole issue with people breaking embargoes, and TechCrunch, has a quasi-interesting policy about, maybe not accepting them, but it's kind of a very gray area. Every writer has their own ideas of what they want to do with it and whatnot. But I just don't like embargoes.
At all.
No,
Ever.
No, I mean, they always get broken. There's a very few times that like one hasn't been broken in some way or another. I mean, you think it's like not that often that it happens, but there's always someone who's sneaking ahead or doing something, somewhat funny or a lot of times, there's deals that are made behind the scenes and people don't realize it, but like a CEO of a company won't tell their press people, but like, they gave the heads up to someone, to a writer, like told them you can go 5 minutes early or something like this. There's all kinds of things going on behind the scenes that make embargoes just that much more of a nightmare.
Right. But by publicly saying you're not going to follow them,
yeah,
then it just makes it that much more difficult to not create, animosity and even more of a situation where people are kind of racing to get the news and encouraging other people to break them, and then it makes your life more difficult because you can never,
well, in a way, I don't think, but I kind of like that. I like that chaos and stuff. I like the idea of people like hunting for a story and really working for it and like going out there and doing what it takes to get that story, rather than having it be fed to them. So it's kind of interesting, this chaos that ensues whenever, there's some kind of embargo situation, either a broken one or us saying we would agree to one or whatnot, Certainly I understand it from some other journalist perspective, like we kind of seem like we're bullying in a way, I guess, because TechCrunch is such a big name and everyone wants to have coverage from us, but there's a lot of ways to do it. I've seen a lot of good press people, get around it still, and I don't know. I think it's fun to add to the chaos of it.
And when you say get around it, what does that mean?
Oh, just like have their own way of
breaking it?
Not maybe, well, sometimes breaking it, but getting at a story other than having it be just an embargoed release.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're in favor of more chaos?
Yes, definitely.
Just in general, with everything all the time?
Yes, it's
Is
much
that
more
the way you
interesting.
run your life too? There's like chaos everywhere?
Not really, but a little bit. But I'm pretty controlled.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, news, you have to kind of like chaos.
Yes.
A bit.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting too because it makes for a secondary story behind the story.
The chaos, exactly, behind the story.
Right.
So we're at South by.
Yep.
What are you getting here? What's your goal?
I'm kind of, I really want to see what the big trend is of South by. In the past it's been the location services or Twitter and things like that, and so I'm kind of trying to see what it's going to be, get the vibe of it by being on the ground here. Of course, leading up to it, there was a lot of talk that it would be one of the group messaging services.
Sure.
And I think those are being used a lot. I don't know which one has the lead or whatever. Things kind of got thrown into a mess a little bit leading up to it because Beluga was bought by Facebook.
Sure.
So they were one of the leading contenders, of course, to be a breakout star here, and that kind of changed the whole ecosystem. So, yeah, just being on the ground and figuring out what's the breakout thing going to be.
And so what's the answer? Because we want to know before you print it in TechCrunch.
I'm still
figuring
looking.
it out?
Yeah, I'm still looking around. It's
But we'll
wait
be
and
the
see.
first to know?
No.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you'll get right on that.
Right.
Right, yeah.